Good morning, everyone. I hope you are well. Hope you can hear this and see this. We're about to begin on the day that we are going to be having a siyum. The siyum will be at 7:45. Shacharis will be before then. We're not going to stay on this channel for Shacharis and for the siyum. We are going to be switching to Zoom. 661-975-7371, the one that we use all the time. My personal, that's my personal channel, and also that's the one which is advertised on the shul timetable. So that's at 7:45. But let's make a start this morning. So we're going to have this morning, tomorrow, and then we're signing off till Chol Hamoed. Okay. So today's learning is dedicated in memory of Leah Bas Faivel bin Yomin Akiva bin Shlomo Harav Yaakov Tzvi bin David Aryeh. Tzipora Feigalu Bas Reuven Borach Paul Casimir Shalom ben Ela Li ben Bas Faivel from Moshe Shana Bas Yaakov Shmuel Caleb Bela Bas Henech Yirmiyahu Echia ben Moshe Eliezer Saramaka Bas ben Yomi Shlomo Echia ben Yeshua Levi Avram Mordechai ben Moshe Katna Aryeh ben Shimon. And then the yacht sites for today, which are Aaron Chaim ben Meisha Jorna, Rezo Radson, Avram Leib ben David Levinson, Fralo ben Yisrael Reichenbach. Okay, wish all of them long life. So let's have a look where we were up to. We're in chapter 5, Perek Hey, and the Mishnah is in chapter Hey. We just started chapter Hey, the 5th chapter, and from now on it really changes, right? It's more philosophical. It's less adages and statements, and more. I think the Weltanschauung. So let's have a look. It's very, very different to what we've done before. So fasten your seatbelts, okay? Good morning to Harry, Rachel, Mervyn, and David. We look forward, if you are staying on. Straight after this, we'll be on StreamYard. On Zoom. And I think that's the easiest. We'll just switch to one channel to Zoom. It's complicated enough as it is this year. With 10 statements, the world was created. How did God create the world? Okay. Now, God created with speech, right? We know that it says in Genesis, it says in Bereshit, we're all familiar with it, right? That God made certain statements. Let there be light, right? Let there be, sun, moon, and the stars. And the statements itself created a reality. It shows you the power of speech. Okay. Now, obviously, there's a question: why did God need to make 10 statements? He could have just said, abracadabra, which actually, abracadabra. Finally, I should mention it. Does anybody know the origins of abracadabra? It's actually from this very Mishnah, from what we just said. What did we just say? 10 statements created, the world was created. And we said that, so therefore, God said certain things and they were created. Abracadabra, let it be created with my words. That's what abracadabra means. What does abracadabra do? I say the words abracadabra and something magical happens. God spoke certain statements, and kadabra, as he spoke, that's the way it was. So the very whole idea of the magic of making a statement and something happening comes from this idea from our Mishnah. So there you go. That's a bit of an incidental point that you can always raise with your friends, right? Okay, ask the Mishnah. God didn't need 10 statements. He could have done so with one statement. So why did he go through the process of 10 statements? Ella lipara min shayim shema'avdim olam shenivra basar mamoras. It's to actually punish the wicked, to exact punishment from the wicked who destroy God's world that was created with 10 utterances, right? So obviously, if there is more statements, then more laws, as it were, then more desecration, right? If you trample over more laws, then you're going to receive a greater comeuppance. So, and it's to also at the same time to reward the righteous. that they fulfill, they keep the world, they sustain the world that was created with 10 utterances. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, but the idea at the very core of creation and the existence of this planet is the idea that we have free will, that we are able to make choices in life, and there are repercussions, right, for the right decisions and for the wrong decisions. Next statement. We're going to fly through this chapter because it's not that complicated. 10 chapters, 10 generations from Adam until Noah. Okay, so why do we need to be told that? To show us and to demonstrate the great degree of patience, right, that God demonstrated. Because all of these generations angered him. Okay, quote, angered, right? It doesn't mean the way we understand anger, but obviously it was God doesn't have feelings, but in our language it means anger, right? But the idea is that clearly it must have, it's soul destroying when you create something and then somebody, goes, imagine you were to lay a cream carpet. Okay, good morning, Andy. Imagine you lay a cream carpet or have the walls painted fresh, nice fresh for colors for Yontif. And all of a sudden, your 2-year-old, or actually, I don't need to make it hypothetical. My 2-year-old comes along, takes a pen, and starts drawing all over it. Right? You're going to be heartbroken. And the more it happens, you may be patient initially. Good morning, Hannah. But the more you're going to become more and more aggravated and angry about the fact that they are destroying your handiwork. So it is that from 10 generations, God put up with a lot, right, from humankind. But after 10 generations of mankind creating mayhem, not listening to the rules, not willing to sustain the world in the way it was intended, right? And then he brought the flood. Next Mishnah, we've already done 2, we're doing 3. Hope everyone's well and joining us at Zoom for 7:45 when the show will be very busy for the Siyum this morning. Everything is brought forward. Usually we would have the Siyum Erev Yontiv, but being that it is Shabbat, therefore, and we don't fast on Fridays, therefore the fast is this morning, which one who's a firstborn can exempt oneself through attending the Siyum either on Zoom or in person. Let's go. Next Mishnah. There are 10 generations, good morning, Edwin, from Noah until Abraham. Why do we need to be told this? Again, right? That to tell us how God's patience, how patient God was, that all these generations caused him great anguish and angst, and until Abraham came along and received the reward for all of them. Because, Abraham was, as it were, an indictment on everything that came before him. Okay? Because if Abraham came from the most humble of beginnings, right? Idolatry was rife. Okay? His father was in wholesale, right? I think we'd say in our terms. He was in wholesale. He sold idols. That's what he did. And yet, despite that, Abraham was able to go through a process of careful consideration and introspection and arrive at the realization that there is a God, there must be a creator. And how did he do that? The idea was that he realized that there must be something that is creating each thing. So he would say, well, what was the cause? What's the cause? So let's say you start with this table. Okay, so the table, so you believe that this table is a God, right? But who created the table? And then they would say, well, that came about because of, I don't know, a wind or because of a man's handyman. And who created the human being? And they'll say, well, the sun, the stars, the moon, the wind, whatever it is, right? Or the Big Bang. And then you'll say, well, who created that? And the idea of going back to the origin, peeling back this world back to its origins and saying there must be a power, a cause of everything coming into creation in the first place, was Abraham, of course, shone a light of truth on the world that was and the world that came before it. And therefore, and therefore, hold on, Edwin's just distracted me, and therefore, right, therefore the people had to had to answer up, and they didn't have any answers, and therefore they would be guilty. So Abraham's conduct, right, was made shone a light on those that came before him, and in fact made sure that they would be punished. Edwin, in terms of having breakfast, if you're not a firstborn, then you can have your breakfast. But I believe from memory you are a firstborn, and therefore you would need to wait until 7:45, unless you can go online and find an earlier CM to join. I am sure there is somewhere in the world. You don't need to come to the Woodside Part 1. There may be one starting at 7 o'clock. Put in Facebook virtual Siyam, and I'm sure there will be one that comes up. Final Mishnah for today. We've got to keep going. 10 miracles happened to our forefathers. Very appropriate that we're finishing this Mishnah now, which discusses about Pesach. Good morning, Richard. 10 miracles happened to our forefathers in Egypt. 10 happened by the Yam, by the sea, right? By the sea. And 10 miracles were God performed when He smote the Egyptians, right? And the Esa alayam, and 10 on the sea, right? So we have to see why the sea is mentioned twice in this regard. Why do we need to be told about the 10 miracles of the sea twice? That's homework for you, okay? But suffice to say, the idea of 10 is the idea of the wholesomeness. Okay, 10 statements God created the world. The Maharal of Prague speaks about this. You can look into it, Edwin. 10 statements. We spoke about there's the 10 commandments, 10 plagues, right? So 10 is the idea of that you have a mastery over something, right? Over the whole of creation. And that's demonstrated by God, be it at the time of creation or at the time of the plagues or the time of the splitting of the sea. We can go into the number 10 another time, but we're going to have to stop there because things are warming up here and people are coming. So let's just finish off with Psalm 23, and then we'll do the memorial prayer, etc. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He causes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even as I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You set a table before me in the presence of my adversaries. You anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only goodness and kindness pursue me the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord for the length of days. Still many people with all different illnesses that require our prayers, so we'll have them in mind. But now we will recite the memorial prayer. Adon Olamim Zacho Es Nishmos Le'abas Faivo Binyamin Akiva Ben Shlomo Harav Yaakov Sibin David Aryeh Tzipora Fegelabas Baruch Hu Kasmeh Shalom Ben Elili Ben Abbas Faivo from Moshe Shanabas Yaakov Shmo Caleb Belabas Henach Yom Yochi Ben Moshe Eliezer Samaka Bas Ben Yom Shlomo Yechia Ben Yeshua Levi Avram Mordechai Ben Moshe Katner Aryeh Ben Shimon and Aaron Chaim Ben Maisha Jonah Rezo Radson Avram Ben David Levinson Frilo Bas Yisrael Reichenbach Yitzchak Rosenthal Shalko Lila Mambagan Aiden Taimanukhosam Lachim Belarachamim Yasim is a kind of problem and maybe it's also a constitution of Adonai Naklasam Yanukubish Benamar Amen. Many people, I'm conscious of the fact, tomorrow or on Shabbos will be the Shloshim, be it because it's curtailed or just because it works out that way. We wish everyone long life. We conclude with Refuah Shlema prayer. Yaakov Moshe Aaron David Shlomo Gayachar Pesach Cholim. Babu Shana Mispalim Babram Bischaz HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachmahem Lachem Lechosam Vishlach Leim Fushim Mishmaim Lachol Avim Besof Shach Yisrael Refuah Nefesh Refuah Sakov Hashabach Zmakarif and Amar Amen. Refuah Shlema to all those that are unwell in our community and beyond. And so therefore now, for those that are firstborn, I would recommend if somebody can power up. David Raphael, can you power up the iPad quickly? Just press on. It will take a few seconds. Give us 2 minutes, and we'll be on the Zoom channel. Okay, and we'll try and put it on. I would just say let's go on Zoom. Okay, Zoom. It's meant to be on 661-975-7371. 661-975-7371. Shacharis followed by Siyam coming up. We're switching channels. Feel like I'm a producer. Have a lovely day, everyone. And a reminder that tomorrow on the Facebook page of and the US TV, we will have the Kabbalah. We are actually hosting for the United Synagogue. We're very honored to do so. We filmed it earlier because obviously David Berman is 2 hours ahead, and that's tomorrow at 5:05. Have a good day and all the best. And remember to do B'dikas Chometz tonight and burn the Chometz tomorrow. Okay, that's that.